All right, we're here with Lewis Central head coach Justin Kammrad. First of all, Coach, state championship season. You've been around the Council Bluffs community your whole life, played at TJ, coached at AL, now at Lewis Central. How special was it to bring a championship to Council Bluffs?
You know, I think the biggest thing for us is just really what it did for the Lewis Central community. You know, really how they rallied around this team, this program, and these kids. And, you know, it's just obviously very special to be able to accomplish that, to be the first team at Lewis Central to do that, you know, and be, you know, only the second high school of the four to win a state championship in football. And so it just really, you know, sets us above, you know, the others, but also just really special for everyone to sort of join in with us and celebrate, you know, the success of these young men.
You've had some really good teams. Maybe you're in some that might have had more talent at times. What brought this team over the top to get the championship?
Yeah, I said it many times. I think this team just became really, really close over the first 4 weeks of our season. You know, we knew we were talented. We sat here a year ago talking about how talented we were and what we were able, you know, thought we could accomplish. And, you know, we had some ups and downs. We had some adversity hit, and when that happened, you know, the guys sort of rallied around one another. They became really, really close, set goals that maybe some others didn't really truly believe would happen after the first 4 weeks. And, you know, they were determined to end that year, you know, with the winning notes, you know, and it comes down to a lot of the little things that we talked about was take care of the small stuff. And, you know, a goal line stand at the end of the football game really just revealed to itself what they all went through and what they accomplished, you know, in doing that.
Yeah, now looking forward, you've got a good group of players coming back. Let's first start with your son, the quarterback, Braylon Kammrad. Had a really good year, kind of a spread guy, air raid quarterback. He described his skill set. Where's Braylon really excelled?
You know, the biggest thing for him is, you know, just his knowledge of the football game. He's been around it since he was little. He understands that the game moves a lot slower for him. Then obviously fundamentally, mechanically does a really good job as a quarterback. And, you know, to lead us the way that he did and really be able to distribute the ball to many different guys that we had. You just showed his level of maturity and his growth as a football player and as a quarterback. And just really excited to have him back again for one more year with the group of guys we have.
And then Parker, one of your key lineman guys, will be back to talk about what Parker brings to the table.
Yeah, Parker, you know, he'll be a 3-year starter for us on the offensive line, and has done a really good job for us. You know, played some defensive line for us as well this year, and, you know, he's really going to be the anchor, you know, for us, and really has, you know, a really good background of an uncle that played at Northwestern University out in Chicago, and his dad played at South Dakota, and, you know, just has been around the game a long time as well for him, and, you know, has really developed, you know, is really starting to add some mass to his frame, and, you know, expecting a lot of really big things out of him this coming fall.
And then Curtis, another guy, about 6'1", 175, receiver, safety, break down what he brings, is just going to be a junior next year.
Yeah, you know, he's one of the very few kids that played for us as a sophomore and really happened due to an injury. And at one point during the year, he stepped in about week 5 and became our full-time starter and was leading the state interceptions, was our number 4 receiver. So he played on both sides of the ball as a sophomore for us and really just showed a really, you know, huge IQ from playing that safety position to be able to break on the balls and being able to play a lot of those teams that defended it. And so, you know, he'll have a bigger role this coming year, moving from, you know, our number 4 guy to probably our number 2 guy within our passing game. And, you know, just a very athletic kid, multi-sport athlete, you know, high jumper and a basketball player, and does a lot of really good stuff for us. And, you know, his sister currently plays volleyball at Northern Iowa, and so, you know, really another kid that has some athletic background with him.
Then Jonathan is one of the top running backs in Iowa for next year and had over 1,400 yards last year, 400 receiving. I mean, break down his skill set. I know he got the early Iowa State offer. I mean, kind of break down his recruiting and his overall skill set.
Yeah, you know, he's a kid that, you know, is very hard to defend. You know, we typically say he's a slasher type kid, but we also played him in the slot quite a bit. You know, we brought in a bigger back at times and put him out to the slot to really give us 4 versatile receivers. And he does so many good things. You know, he's been playing, you know, football a long time, and it's his skill set to make people miss, to really turn on that, you know, second gear that he has and to run by people. And then really for him, you know, his size, you know, he's probably 165 somewhere in there, a little bit lighter, but he runs well behind his pads. He has a lot of power, and so he's really versatile. You know, he's an every down back. He can be for some teams and just does a really good job. You know, early recruitment obviously was Iowa State, you know, and has had some fillers out there from some of the MAC schools as well. You know, and then obviously 1AA schools have been really interested in him. So it's really going to be, you know, where he fits. You know, for a lot of these schools, you know, some schools want a bigger back and they want a guy that can carry the ball a lot. But he's a guy that's going to be able to play multiple positions for him.
And you've got a really strong leg kicker here in Boston. I mean, I know kicking recruiting is a challenge. You don't know how it's going to go for a guy, but I mean, how do you see Boston and what makes him maybe a Division I kicker prospect?
Yeah, you know, for him, you know, he was second-team All-State guy, and that's just because we didn't kick a whole lot of field goals, but he led the state in touchbacks, kickoff yards, and things like that. Just very strong football player. Was a starting corner for us as well. But we currently have, or did have, 2 current Division I kickers with Caleb Shudak, who was at Iowa, and then Drake Nellis at Iowa State. And so, you know, Boston is just like those guys. You know, same body frame, same type of leg strength, but, you know, more so I think Boston has, you know, a little bit more athleticism. You know, than Drake, and so I think he has the ability to be able to do a lot of good things, and you know, he difference maker. You know, especially in the kicking game for a school that needs that to be able to change field position. You know, he's definitely got that ability.
And then Luciano, built a little different than his cousin, but very, very quick, very fast, all-state guy. Clearly will be one of the key parts of your team next year.
Yeah, you know, he's a guy that really came on. We know that he's extremely talented, extremely explosive as a football player. We knew coming into this year he's extremely fast, and how were we going to be able to get the ball to him was probably the biggest thing for us. And once we were able to find how he fit with the other pieces that we had, we were able to really, you know, exploit his ability. And, you know, he was our leading receiver, both with receptions, touchdowns, and yards, and just really was a mismatch problem. You know, playing in the slot against some outside linebackers and some strong safeties, he's able to run by guys. And later in the year, we were able to move him around. We started playing him on the outside as well to just get some matchups, some deep threats. And, you know, he does a lot of really good things that you just can't teach. And so it's been really good to have him, and then also to have him come back again. You know, he'll be a big part of what we do, not only on the offense side, but also in the kicking game with returns, punts, and kickoffs as well.
Then finally, another one of your really talented young players is Caleb Moore, about 6 foot, 185. Really good weight room numbers for a young guy, it looks like, and obviously the track numbers were solid for a freshman. I mean, what do you see for him going forward?
Yeah, he's one of those guys that started for us as a freshman a year ago. Started for us at the beginning of this year. Unfortunately, tore his ACL, so we lost him. We don't typically play freshmen unless they're ready. At Lewis Central, and he was one of those kids when he stepped in as a freshman. He played outside linebacker for us, and it's not one of those positions that's easy. You know, you got to be willing to stick your nose in there, and you got to be physical with people, and he showed that ability to be able to do that. You know, so we're really excited about him and his progress and where he's going to end up. You know, we'll see how he comes back from an injury, but really has a high ceiling as a football player, and excited for him.
And finally, I got to ask you about Thomas. You're going to be watching him pretty closely, and obviously he had the tough setback with the knee injury, but I mean, it looks like he's ready for his opportunity at Nebraska.
Yeah, you know, him and I talked probably about 2 weeks ago, and excited just with his growth and his development. You know, obviously he saw some pictures and he looks the part. He's starting to fill out. You know, being able to get on campus, you know, although he had an injury, get on campus and just start understanding how the college landscape works. You know, the daily grind, the daily requirements that it is. I think that was, you know, good for him to get in there early, then go through a summer and then a fall season and be able to work himself back. I think there's a lot to be said about, you know, his willingness to put in the work to get back to even play in 2 to 3 games that he played in. Excited just for him, you know, being a full year, calendar year, and where he's truly going to be, and, you know, how he'll be able to be utilized within the new system and with the new coaches and offensive coordinator. And you know, he's once again a guy that I think will make a lot of plays for him, given the right situation, and he'll do everything possible to make it happen.